Welcome to the Global Impact Virtual Conference hosted by ISTE Community Leaders. My name is Lindsay Zilly, and I am the Senior Program Strategist at Take Action Global, and I live near Chicago, Illinois, USA. I firmly believe that diversity drives innovation, creativity, and problem solving.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Williams, and I work with Lindsay and educators from around the world to connect people with purpose and the planet in my role as the Executive Director of Take Action Global. I'm also the author of the ISTE book, Teach Boldly Using EdTech for Social Good, and am an ISTE ambassador. This session is titled Build the Change Mini Mission, Taking Action for the Planet, and we'll cover ways to build the change in response to a global sustainability mini mission. We will share on how classrooms of all levels can use resources available to jump into international design challenges. At the end, we will share 3 calls to action and access to a library of mini missions as offered for free by us at Take Action Global and our friends at the LEGO Group. To kick us off, I'm pleased to share a little bit about our work at Take Action Global. Lindsay and I are part of a team of educators from 161 countries committed to supporting classrooms in their work with environmental justice and climate action education. We have a lot of friends and partners who we have the opportunity to work with around the world, in addition to our relationships at ISTE. We work with the United Nations, the LEGO Group, the US Department of State, and do work within the New York City area and the Mayor's Office. We are committed to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Our work mostly is centered in SDG 4, quality education, SDG 13, climate action, and Partnership for the Goals, global goal number 17. We see our work sitting at the intersection of climate change and education, right in the middle with action. We have teachers and students joining from around the world at every grade level and every content area. So we are working across the curriculum in arts and sciences, library media, ed tech, even PE coaches are taking action in their role as climate action educators. We are really focused on what works. So through an asset-based model, what works in terms of climate? We want to make sure our work is systemic, sustainable, based on science, and education, ensuring that it's culturally responsive, equitable, integrated, and interdisciplinary. We love sitting in the middle of that with action, ensuring that the activities, the teaching, the learning is active, collective, and experiential. And it looks really different. So we have some classrooms that are out in their local communities as activists. We have some classrooms creating art campaigns, and some are using their voices to create advocacy campaigns for the world. So how does that bring us to the LEGO Group? We have been working with the LEGO Group for several years and incorporating their 6 principles of playful learning. We want to make sure as our students are developing and shaping those ideas to support our planet, they are doing that with a creative mindset. So we have developed our Build the Change Institute in partnership with the LEGO Group and our organization, Take Action Global. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Lindsay to share a little bit about play and ways that teachers can use learning through play in the classroom.
Well, just like Take Action Global, LEGO prioritizes these 3 pillars: children, environment, and people. It's all about fair and equitable use, promoting accessibility and inclusivity. And the biggest part of this is focusing on children and the way that they learn best. So let's talk about play a little bit. When we think about play, it's one of those innate qualities that naturally comes to most humans. At the beginning of our experiences in life, playful learning can be found almost everywhere we go. In addition, curiosity is a big part of that playful learning. But when we think about it in the context of a school environment, we have to wonder, what is play? So if we're looking at play outside of the elements of unstructured time and back into the academic setting, we have come across some definitions of play that you may or may not have seen before. So if we think about what is play through the lens of Take Action Global and Lego, we've heard that play is often understood as recreation, doing things without purpose, or as a particular kind of activity. There is a strong role of children's agency, but no particular purpose. We completely disagree with this definition of play. We believe that play is purposeful and does serve a great deal of purpose in not only a student and child's life, but in adult and teachers' lives as well. So when we think of play, we think of it as a verb, engaging in activity for enjoyment and recreation, rather than a serious or practical purpose. The children were playing by a pool, or to take part in something. So they play and are involved in some sort of activity. We think of it as having a means to an end. Some sort of learning is involved in play, whether it's structured or unstructured. It adds value to the work that the students are doing. It's a strategy for teaching and learning. But play needs help. In the educational context, play refers to the activities that are intentionally designed to be enjoyable, spontaneous, and intrinsically motivated, while still having educational or developmental objectives. Play in school is recognized as a valuable and effective method for fostering holistic development in students, encompassing cognitive, social, emotional, and physical aspects as well. So in our opinion, we need to redefine play and reimagine what learning could look like. We have a specific example of playing and learning within the classroom that really developed and hit home for us here at TAG and with the Lego group. We had a group of teachers and students in Canada who were introducing this idea of the Lego Build the Change mini missions. And prior to that, this STEM teacher had been doing lots of hands-on activities through educational technology. So students were on devices, learning through Scratch or different programs, and she was seeing that they weren't as engaged as they normally could have been. Now, this was post-COVID, and it got her thinking, these kids have been on technology for most of their lives. And in fact, they spent a lot of their COVID life on a device. So she brought in Lego and Play-Doh and all other types of hands-on tools for playful learning. And the engagement went through the roof because her students during COVID times were just on devices. They had never experienced playful learning in their classrooms, and it made all the difference in the world. So playful learning has the potential to engage your students in ways that we have never seen before. And incorporating these practices into your classroom lessons is not only great to do, but it's also essential. So let's think through some characteristics of playful learning experiences across the board. So if we look at these various characteristics on the screen, playful learning is joyful. It's something that you want to participate in. It's socially interactive. Now, at times, playful learning can be isolated, but it also has a tendency to bring people into the fold. It's meaningful, it's engaging. It brings ideas to light that normally we wouldn't think through. It's actively engaging and it's iterative. So the playful process helps students think through ideas critically and rethink through those ideas until they can come up with a solution to whatever problem or work that they have been working on.
All right, Lindsay, are you ready for some fun? All right,
Definitely.
let's do this. So on the next few pages, we will share a drawing of people engaged in playful activities. And this was created by the Harvard Project Zero and the Lego Foundation. So what you're going to see is an imagined city, but the drawings are based on real life with architecture inspired by buildings from Denmark, South Africa, us here in the United States, and Colombia. And the activities are drawn from real life experiences and activities too. You might see a group of students playing Pokemon Go, for instance. So in this city, the citizens have the resources to play and value spending time playing. Their activities are going to be inspired by play that we've seen around the globe. You might see children playing with other children, children playing with adults, adults playing with each other, adults or children playing with animals. Maybe some are in groups and maybe some are alone. Some of the games have rules. Some is pretend play, play in nature. Some play that involves computers, play with materials, play with ideas. On the next slides, you will see the drawing. We'd love for you to notice that includes a neighborhood, a business district with apartments, offices, street life, a school, a field, and a forest. Also note that the classroom was intentionally drawn empty. So you all, as teachers, can imagine your classroom as part of the school where playful learning is occurring. As you look over the drawing, we'd love to invite you to notice where people are having joyful experiences. Where are they socially interactive? Where are they actively engaged? All right, so we hope you enjoy the drawing, and you can always return to the drawing to find some secret gems as well. So this is the first part of the drawing, Lindsay. Anything you notice here that you want to point out?
It's so beautiful and just so nuanced. There's so many different intricate ways that we can see playful learning, some more obvious than others. For me, what resonates with me is in that top left corner of the screen where the green curtains are. I see two different pairs of family members huddled together, spending quality time together, either watching TV or chatting. That is something that really hits home with me, is just having that quality time to share an experience with somebody else. I love that.
There's so much joy in this city. You can see the artwork that's being done. I even see the sidewalks, the way that they've crafted the bricks. It's done in a playful, beautiful way. I see people learning to ride their bike. I remember when I learned to ride my bike with my parents. There's special little hidden gems, I think, for people that live in the city to find and to notice. The flowers are beautiful. There's the consistency. They take pride in their environment.
I love how there are different groups of people as well. So in some capacities, there's pairs, there's groups, but then if you look at the mural in the center on the bottom, that's one person participating in a joyful, playful experience. And I think that just goes to show that play is not limited to large groups. And I think we have to almost reiterate that with our students, that you can have fun doing something that you're interested in, and it will bring joy to others once you've finished. And personally, I recharge on my own. So that is definitely something that would bring me joy. And then to the left of them, you can see the inclusivity of play. So we have some musicians who are playing music, and then some people who maybe aren't musically inclined but love music, dancing. And then even still, we have someone in a wheelchair who's able to enjoy the artwork, the music, just be included in the process of play as it just naturally unfolds in front of them. So it's really cool.
I tell a story, the people that are dancing too, all those 4 people dancing with the 2 people playing guitars. I tell a story that they were like going down the road and they heard this music and they're like, I'm going to stop and join in. So it's almost like their invitation to join is there.
Yes, yes. Play has
That's
a way
great.
of doing that, inviting and engaging.
All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, so what do you see here?
Ooh, so obviously some reminders of our COVID times where we've got some virtual asynchronous learning. But the amazing thing about the virtual learning experience, just like this session, is it's accessible worldwide. You no longer have to be in a particular location or purchase a ticket to go somewhere. Learning is now more accessible than ever. So the power in that is sharing each other's cultures, sharing each other's joys, and it's just really cool to have that empowering moment when you're able to connect with somebody across the globe.
I see all ages represented.
Mm-hmm.
I see this giraffe that if I were in the city, it would be like, and there's that giraffe up there waiting for us. You'd tell the story of why it's there and what's happening. Another secret little treasure. So much happening here.
Yes, little hidden forts where make believe can take
Mm,
place, simply splashing in puddles, just
mhm.
making fun out of natural environments. Obviously, at TAG, we love the outdoor experiences. And so we highly value outdoor classrooms because there's so much experiential learning that can come in an outdoor classroom setting. And if you just look at this, the students in that setting, they're naturally curious and wanting to explore. So it just makes sense to teach outside. But there's so many different little areas that people can find joy, whether it's inside the classroom or going down the banister, the railing of the classroom steps, or in the sand, on the tire swing. Really great opportunities for playful learning.
It's just beautiful. All right. Well, now that we've looked and explored that city, let's bring it back to the work that we've been doing and thinking about these characteristics of playful learning as we talk about some opportunities for teachers.
So, as a former primary teacher, I taught in the elementary schools for many years. This is a typical problem that you would see in your classroom. 2 + 2 =. And so, a lot of the times when we teach, we're looking for particular answers. But what if instead of looking for one specific answer of 2 + 2 =4, we flipped it around and asked students what the question could be? So, if instead of starting here with 2 + 2 =4, what if we started with 4? And that's the answer to a problem. Then they are the ones that are supplying the answers. It could be 2 + 2. It could be 7 - 3. It could be 2 × 2. The possibilities now become endless when you instead give the answer and ask for the question, the problem, instead of expecting one particular response. This is why we celebrate these opportunities for playful learning. We look for opportunities to think differently about the way we present information for our students. And oftentimes, our students will surprise us with some really magical ideas that we can then bring to our other students and help them celebrate their successes in some really cool and meaningful ways as well. So if we look at this as a holistic skill, as it's all encompassing, we look at the development of children and learning in a complex way. So it incorporates that creative side, the social, physical, emotional, as well as cognitive. And you can see they're all interconnected and they're all necessary in order to create an experience for the child that's really meaningful and empowering. They complement each other and they're interactive with one another on a regular basis. So what's the connection between the skills we develop through learning through play and sustainability? So people and planet? Well, I am so glad that you asked. We think about these skills useful in creating a better world. There's so many pieces that we could bring in. Problem solving, critical and design thinking, creativity, STEM, global citizenship, collaboration, communication, innovation, and yes, even technology. If we look at the way the world is today, what is working well and how can we leverage it in other problems that maybe need to be solved in a creative way? So by pairing this holistic skill set and playful learning, we're able to tackle all of these different elements of student work, student life, and academics in general. And that's the beauty in the Build the Change activities and mini missions that we have for each of our students. So looking at our Build the Change activities, we have this Lego group flagship learning through play experience that also embeds this idea of sustainability. The program is that one that highlights student initiative and student problem solving and doesn't necessarily require Lego at all. So if you're familiar with project-based learning, it's the same sort of experience. It's students solving real world problems that matter to them or their community in a way that they can actually do something about it. They're learning through play, they're developing skills for the future, they're making their voices heard by becoming an amplifier to the work that they're doing, and all the while embedding sustainable educational practices into the work that our students are doing. It's incredibly cool to see all of the students as they progress through the mini missions, because a lot of the times they just want to start building right away. And it's important for them to have a level kind of playing field where they see what is really impacting their community. And once they're able to see what their community needs, how their community can thrive better, then they can build something that's truly impactful and is something that's sustainable for a systemic change later on. So there's 3 simple steps of this Build the Change program. It's something that any student can do and any teacher can do alongside them. First and foremost, it's all about immersing the students in the experience. So we want them to learn about a real world planet and people challenge. Typically, we ask them to look at their community or locus of control and see what's going on that needs to be solved. Next is that create phase, one that students are really ready to hit the ground running with. They are then asked to create a brilliant solution based on the problem that they have at hand. And again, they can use any type of material to do this, whether it's paper and pencil, actual Lego bricks, or using educational technology tools in order to craft something online. Finally, and most importantly, they need to share it with the world. So whether it's sharing it with another classroom in their school, sharing it at a staff meeting or in the community, or sharing it back to the group of Build the Change community members so that others can see that the work that they're doing really matters. This is such a big, powerful part of the Build the Change Institute program.
Thanks, Lindsay. All right, so we are excited to share with you today learnings we've had over the past few months with our pilot program called Build the Change Institutes. So we have welcomed in, since last fall, 4 cohorts of educators to join us, and these were 5th through 8th grade teachers from around the world. They engaged in a 4-week experience for professional learning. And we wanted to make it fun, playful, bite-sized, and flexible because we knew our teachers were going to have a lot on their plate and we wanted to be able to bring them in with some inspiration and some resources they could use right away. So here was week 1. We shared information via email, something they could watch, something they could read, information for planning, and then something for them to share out on their involvement with the program. Week 2, we shared a collection of mini missions. These were 1-page challenges that they could look at and bring to their classroom. So they each selected one. Some classrooms selected 1 mini mission. Some let their students pick, and their students picked a lot of different ones. So it was really up to them. Week 3, we came together for a live webinar with our friends from the Lego group. We got tours of the Lego headquarters, which was pretty epic. And then we started to talk about skill building through learning through play. Week 4, we turned it over to our educators, and they were able to share about their experience, but also create their own Lego mini mission that they were excited to share with the world on ways we could take care of our planet. Here are 2 that we shared. One is from Diane on the health of the ocean, and another one from a teacher, Mary, on a sustainable city. So they were not only able to teach these lessons with their students, we shared the full library with all of the mini missions with the entire cohort. And we learned a lot. First off, we learned that many teachers responded likely or very likely to incorporate learning through play into instruction this school year. We also learned that many teachers responded effective or very effective when considering how effective learning through play can be in connecting children to sustainability topics, our area of interest. These were words that educators shared and how they felt after the experience, with the larger words being words that were shared more often. And these were words that the educators shared and how they felt their students probably were feeling after participating in the experience. So as we moved through immerse, create, and share, we were thrilled to see what the students created. So we encouraged them to create with any materials they had. It could be Lego bricks, but it also could be recycled materials, arts and crafts materials. They could even use technology. So we'll share a few here with you. This is from a school that did the ocean waste activity. This one we get excited about. They worked as a full class in Mumbai, and they created a sustainable nature building, and they really weaved in a lot of their learnings and wrote about that for all of the classrooms to also learn. This is a school in Uganda who shared with us about their sustainable buildings, and they used Lego bricks and created a video for you today. And here's their final creations. I think our last one here is from New York City. They used recycled materials, and you can see this group in the front of the photo. This was their creation. You see students, kind of reminds me of the drawing, working in the background on a different challenge. And they used those packing peanuts as seats made of natural materials like tree stumps. So there's a lot of imagining here, a lot of creativity, a lot of personalization and pride. So the Build the Change experience, we'd love to turn it over to you. And today we have 3 calls to action and a collection of resources. So Lindsay, our favorite part, calls to action. What do we have today?
Absolutely. So you're probably wondering, okay, this is all great. Now what can I do? So we'd love to give you a starting point. First of all, we have these play kits via Project Zero with an opportunity for you to start building in playful learning into your classroom. So there's a variety of suggested materials, but keep in mind, flexibility is key. You do not need to buy a bunch of materials in order to incorporate playful learning. You can include things to sculpt with, things to build with, like Lego bricks, wood, dominoes, plastic cups, something to collage, paper, also educational technology tools. So platforms that you normally use with your students to leverage with them in order to create something beautiful for the world to see. We have our mini missions as well that we'd love to invite you to look through. So there are 8 different mini missions with a solution that we're looking for from your students to help with either designing a nature first building, cleaning the ocean, cleaning the air, designing planet-friendly transportation, and many more. Each of these resonates with different communities across the globe, and we invite you and your students to look into these missions and create a solution that works best for you. All of this to say that our Build the Change Institutes are still live and available for you to join. We have a fall institute that is currently receiving applicants, and we'd love for you to join this Build the Change Institute completely free. It is a step-by-step process that we take you through and support you all along the way and help you and your students celebrate playful learning in ways that make sense to you and them. But the biggest thing that you can do now is join our Global Impact Padlet. Within the Padlet, you'll be able to connect with us, Jen and Lindsay, in order to continue these most important conversations about playful learning and taking action for people and planet. In addition, you'll find our presentation links from today. We have 2 sessions today, and they're both there for you to see. And then lastly, there's a call to action within that Padlet, asking you to plant the seeds in order to share these ideas in some capacity. Whether you take action tomorrow or you simply have a conversation about what you learned, that's something that is planting a seed for a greater future. You'll find our resources here on this Padlet. If you scan this QR code, you can also share your story, whether it's a playful learning story, a climate story, sustainability, whatever the case may be. Let's connect with like-minded individuals and let's start building the change together.
Thanks,
Thank you
Lindsay.
thank you so much for your time today.
All right, so hopefully you'll jump into our Padlet board. We can't wait to see you there. Lindsay and I will be on the other end, ready to share resources, collaborate, answer questions. And of course, we'd like to thank the incredible team that invited us to be a part of today's event. So thanks again for watching this session as part of the Global Impact Virtual Conference hosted by our friends, the ISTE community leaders. Please watch other sessions, including those pre-recorded and those offered live. You can join in the conversation throughout the conference on ISTE Connect and on social media using hashtag ISTE Global and hashtag ISTE Community. So on behalf of our entire team at Take Action Global, our community of global educators all around the world, and Lindsay, we are so grateful for your time today and wish you a fantastic conference. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.